What's up, YouTube? This your boy, Civil Wolf with Civil Wolf TV. I'm here with another banger, part 3 of a live conversation, uncut interview with OG Frank Nitty. Nitty got a special guest he got coming on that interview later on too. We also got Marlo here sitting at the table with us also. And before we get started, remember, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. With no further delay, OG Frank Nitty.
What's up, YouTube, my YouTube family? How y'all doing out there today? I'd like to give a shout out first and foremost, man, to every G and GF from every hood to Hollywood. Also, man, I'd like to continue to let y'all join my campaign and free my little brothers, Porky and Purple. 2 real bloods doing real blood things. Without further ado, I'll pick up from where I left off the last time. My entry into the penitentiary. You know, when I first got there, I told you one of the most horrible and disgusting things I seen was a man attempting to rape another man. I knew from that point that I was on a do or die level, and it was the most dangerous level I know I've ever been on in my life, because I knew, unlike the streets, that I couldn't stay out of another motherfucker's way and they couldn't stay out of mine. So every situation was do or die. So I remember the last time I spoke to y'all, it was concerning the guy trying to steal 2 pair of jeans from me and what I did to him. And one of the dudes that first hit me to prison, a guy by the name of Unky. And I remember, like I said, he said that I would have to set the bar high, right, where I would, how I was going to carry myself in a penitentiary. And I really took heed of that, and I took that to heart. And so one of the things I did after establishing myself, I really started pressing dudes, right? It was to the point that guys couldn't get packages without their family sending me a package too. They couldn't get money orders while their family had to send me a money order too. I wasn't the baddest guy in the penitentiary, but I certainly was one of the most determined to carry like it's supposed to carry. Now, one of the things that the viewers seemed that they asked about in the comments, they seemed to wanted to know more about my life and before I actually went into the penitentiary, which I will go back to the penitentiary in a few minutes. Well, as I said in part 1, my parents died when I was 13. So I was really raised by the streets. I've been homeless, right? And I come up out of all that, you know, stronger. You know, I won't say better because I never really experienced better. I experienced strength. All my life, you was either weak or you was strong. There was no gray area. And it was a bunch of us, about 20 deep. As kids, we used to grow up and run the streets. And because a lot of these kids, they was out there, they looked like they were surviving like I was, but many of them had parents, right, that they went home to every night. But one of the things we started at a very young age was a robbing crew. And one of the things that we used to do, because the oldest out of all of us was 16, right? He had just turned 16, a guy by the name of Poogie. And he was kind of like the big brother to all of us. So I can remember he had a brother that we became so known for robbing people all over the city that people would see us in a crowd coming up and they would take off, right? So we couldn't rob them. So I remember Poogie had a brother that we used to go in the back of his pickup truck and we used to lay down beside each other so we can get up on the strips, right? Some of us used to hide in the passenger seat, at least be 2 of us, in the passenger seat. And what we used to do, we used to ride up on the strips, and we would rob the whole strip, right? And we did this not for no specific purpose. We did this because that's who we was, right? We took, right? And after we started getting a little older, and when I say a little older, I'm talking no more than a year, maybe a year and a half, we kind of branched off into pairs, robbing people around the city. Sometimes we would get to the point that it had really became a habit. I know for me, for sure. I remember recently talking to one of my nieces concerning how addicted I became to robbing. Right? It was so much so that when my son's mother was pregnant with my son, and a little after, she used to send me out in the middle of the night because she would have these cravings. She would send me out in the middle of the night and tell me to go to 7-Eleven. And I can remember I would rob everybody I seen going to 7-Eleven and everybody I seen coming back. And it even been times that I have robbed people in the parking lot while the police was standing there in 7-Eleven drinking coffee. That's how addicted I came to robbing. As I believe I mentioned to y'all in either part 1 or part 2, I ran into a guy by the name of Black, right? And Black was probably about the closest thing I had to a father, right, after my father passed, because my father indeed was a man, not just a male. By this time, like I believe I mentioned to y'all before, Black had taught me everything was to know about guns and everything it was to know about creeping and ultimately how to be a hitman.
Okay, Nettie. You talking about being a hitman. Like, how old were you when you first started taking on the role as a hitman?
Well, I took on the role as a hitman when I was 14. I was almost 15. But I caught my first murder by mistake, and it was at the age of 13. And I was robbing a guy, and I just so happened, well, me and my little crew, we was robbing a guy, and I used to always want to be the most dangerous one, the most known one, so when we would go back and talk about it later on that night. And I remember the guy, they had ran off, the guy was, he had started swinging at me, and I was backing up, and I slipped on a beer bottle, and the gun went off, and I killed him. I remember feeling energized, but I also remember being terrified at the same time because some of the blood had got on my clothes. So I remember that, I was living, staying, at this time I was staying with, a friend of mine. Well, he's more than a friend, somebody who was a brother to me by the name of Man. Most people at Park Heights would know him as Brick. His mother kind of took me in because we was friends, and she kind of raised me, from that point. Nothing that I have done in my lifetime has been any credit to her other than trying to be a good person now. She was a wonderful woman, and she gave me both kind love and tough love at the times that I needed it. But that's where, at the age of 14.
So did you get any time behind that when you did that?
No. And one of the things that he taught me was that because I was too young to have fingerprints, then that was the reason that I would be so good at what he taught me to do. because nobody would ever be able to trade because I was too young to even have a photograph or what they call it, or be a part of a photo line or what they call a photographic array. I was too young to have either one. And like I said, what he would do, he trained me even down to sounds. He would take me in areas that I wasn't familiar with. And he would sit down there and do things like, it would be in the middle of the night. And he would teach me the different sounds of when people walking and where they would be at, right? Depending on where they was walking. And he used to teach me, he used to take me in areas that had these same things. Some would be like cobblestone, some would be the regular street, and how someone's foot sound when it hits this. He taught me how to disguise myself, right? And one of the things that he taught me, he cut the boot off of, he cut the top of a boot off, the top of a tennis shoe off, brand new tennis shoes, and I couldn't understand why would he do something like that. And then he took a nail, and I think he took 2 nails, and he nailed the bottom part of the tennis shoe inside of these boots. And he explained to me, he said, I guess you wonder why I did that. And I said, yeah, but at the time I was more concerned that you just messed up a perfectly good pair of tennis shoes. And he said, because the police look for people by height and weight. And so it would make me appear to be taller because it would make me look like I had bigger feet. Right? When in all reality, my shoes were just nailed to the bottom of a bigger pair of shoes. And that's how I got around. He would teach me how it sound to walk in the snow. Right? And he did these things, daily. He taught me how to shoot. And I used to see this in movies, and I always wondered why he would ask me to look at these movies. But it was things like that I was experiencing, right? And in fact, he was like, many people think that I just adopted the name Frank Nitty. And for all those who don't know, actually the police was the first people to start calling me Frank Nitty, because I was a hitman for a guy by the name of Fat Al. And so they started calling me this, and I just started answering to it, and then persona Frank Nitty was born.
Let me don't let stop you there. Let me jump you back to the penitentiary for a minute, then we can go back. You know what I mean? I know you've been through a couple of different jails. Mm-hmm. Which is you consider the toughest one that you've been through, and if you can give us an example of some of the things that you've seen happen in there.
Well, I can say it's hard to say one particular jail is the hardest, because at the time that I went to prison, it was really men in prison, right? It wasn't a whole bunch of people who could be bullied and taken advantage of. And these were some of the gangsters of Baltimore and even Maryland, and even far as PG County. And so when I first went in there, I'm trying to remember my first jailhouse murder. Back then, what they would do to throw the COs off and stuff like that, because in the penitentiary, it had a high suicide rate. So in the penitentiary, I remember seeing guys holding a guy, and another guy putting a noose around his neck. And one guy was kind of on him in a bear hug, and he sat down with him, which caused the guy to sit down with him. And they was holding when they put a noose around his neck. and it's what they used to call a jailhouse suicide. It's when you kill somebody and you leave them about 6 inches up off the ground, because the penitentiary had bars. So you would sit down there and it would look like somebody just put a noose around their neck and they set up with their butt off the ground and until they eventually died. The next murder, strange enough, was from a punch. First time I've ever seen somebody get killed with a punch. And I'll go back to penitentiary in a second, but the second jailhouse murder that I witnessed was two guys, they got to arguing. We was in a rec hall. They said, well, let's go upstairs and fight. They said, okay. And the two guys was walking, and the guy in the front turned around and hit the guy one time. And he cleared maybe about 14 steps without touching any step. His head hit the ground, and immediately blood started running out his ears. He died from that punch, and that landed. And strangely enough, that's not the first time I've seen somebody get killed with a punch in prison. One thing about the penitentiary, when somebody got killed, I guess some people say it's never any good reason to take somebody's life, and to each their own. But when they got killed in the penitentiary, it was normally for something. Like it was more than just an argument. It was something that you had done. It was something that somebody couldn't walk away from. And I remember one particular guy, I can't remember his name, but he was a serial child molester. And man, this guy got killed in such a brutal way. But I never forget, we was locked down after this. And the day after that, not only was nobody talking about it, everybody seemed to be in a joyful mood. Believe it or not, they seemed to be in a joyful mood. It was because this had happened. And so it was explained to me the reason that it had happened. And it explained to me that people of that nature and who has had that charge is a disease that can only be cured one way. And which I personally find strange. And please view your comments if you agree. You'll take a guy like me. This is what the government does. It'll take a guy like me who is accused of killing someone just like me. But you'll take a child molester. This is what our government does. It'll take a child molester and get him 5 years. And I can't understand that. I can't wrap my mind around that, because monsters normally create monsters. And many people who, and this is just my opinion of seeing these, and I call them what I feel like they are, animals. I don't have anything for anybody to sue me for it. I'm not endorsed by anybody. So I'm going to say what's on my mind. I see this, and I really just can't wrap my mind around this, because here's, like I was going to say, somebody who started out as someone who was molested, and they grew up and started doing these animalistic things to someone else. So now it's a child. And that is kind of a chain that this never breaks. And this is worth 5 years, 10 years. Like I say, back to the penitentiary. like I said, it seemed like one big machine because it was nothing but steel and concrete. And it was so dangerous because you had to really watch what you did and watch what you said, or suffer the consequences, or be willing to stand on business about what you said. I was somebody who chose to stand on business for the things I said out my mouth. And it was amazing because although I had these multiple life sentences and hundreds of years in prison, it amazed me because as I spoke to y'all on my last, or on part 2, I got to see some of my childhood heroes, people who I say they made a difference in the community, no matter how they did it. And one in particular is the real Marlo, one of the first gangsters and celebrities, in my opinion, that I met. And I remember him sitting down having a talk with me, and it was one of the most gangster talks that I ever had because it was a situation where he basically was like, you can listen or not. And it wasn't a thing where it was any love into it. It was facts. And it was real concern. And that was my Uncle Marlo, the real one from The Wire. Right? And I asked him I'm gonna ask him to holler at y'all for a few tonight, right? Because he he's informed me previously that he has a meeting tonight. Certain things, so y'all will be aware, I won't be able to ask him because he's under contract. Because as many of y'all may have seen, he has a movie out. It's called The Real Marlo. So I'm gonna see if I can catch him for y'all right now.
Now you say The Wire, you talking about the movie, The Wire that was based here in Baltimore?
It was based here in Baltimore, okay. Right? The one that the character Marlo on. This is the real one.
Hey, can I use your bathroom?
Yeah, straight up.
Hey, what's going on, Unc? Man, I'm up here doing this podcast, man, doing this interview, and I've been telling, like I said, so many other family, man, and now I'm telling the YouTube people, man, that as a kid, you was always one of my heroes from seeing you. Huh? Yes. Okay, you hear me?
Yeah, he's real good.
Okay. Now I said I used to be telling them stories about you and you know, as being one of my heroes when I was growing up. And the people were saying, one of the things that I was telling them about was a time that the police had the projects surrounded with a so-called manhunt for you and how you got away.
Oh yeah, I walked right past him, dressed up like a woman, walked right past him. When they talk about searching the whole building, talking about he in there, I know he in there. So, you know, I came up dressed as a woman. Somebody else, me and two other people, I ain't gonna say. You know, man, walk right past the motherfucker, then people say, he got away.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Hold on, y'all. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, one of the things that the part that we're on now is when I first got into the penitentiary, and I was talking to them about the talk that you had to have with me that kind of made it.
Hey bro, what's going on? What's good with you?
Hey, this is the interview. This This the interviewer hollering at you.
What's good?
Hey, how you doing there, sir?
Hey, bro, I'm good. How about yourself?
I'm doing alright, man. And my motherfucking nephew Nitty was strong, motherfucker. Still is strong.
Yeah, just tell me, hey, bro, listen. I mean, get real quick. Just tell me a story about when you first, when y'all first was together in the joint, man. Give me something real quick.
Okay, when he first came in, man, you know what I mean? He was, putting his foot down already, come to the door. Motherfucker say, tell me, Uncle Marlo getting that for Nitty, man. I'm telling you, man, he up there leaning on niggas and all that. Wanna put the knife in niggas. So my brother said, man, go up there and get him. I went up there, I said, come on now, sir. You know what I mean? And he wanted to drink out the cup. He said, man, give me a drink of that. I said, boy, you don't know I'm looking at this shit here. He said, tell him, yo, come on, give me that. I gave that motherfucker, hit that motherfucker, boy, why I do that? That motherfucker really wanted to fight. I said, hey, you ain't get no more of this. But he couldn't hold this up, you know what I mean? But niggas used to go, come get me all the time, man, getting that free nitty, man. He get better beating the nigga ass and all this shit, man. I said, man, come on, nigga, you can't do that, man. You gonna get stuck in prison. I said, it ain't like I'm trying to protect them niggas. I'm trying to protect you, because you can burn that bit up and never come home again, you know?
Right.
You know? Hey, you ain't gotta go down that way.
No shit. That's what's up, bro. You know what I mean? He speak highly of you, bro. You know what I mean? I just wanted to get some confirmation on what he was saying and stuff, Jack. You know what I mean? Much love to you, my man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, he was certified coming through the motherfucking door, you know? And with that family name, any motherfucking way, he really was certified. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Motherfucking man, and not just go against a motherfucker wasn't nothing. He went against motherfuckers who was supposed to be something, you know?
Right.
And I said, whatever you feel like you want to do, then go ahead and do it. But I'm telling you, murder that motherfucker bit up, you'll never go home. I said, I got double like for 20 years, right? And I said, man, they want to keep me stuck here. But I said, if I get a jailhouse murder or something, I said, man, that's it. But you know, good thing I didn't catch that motherfucker, you know what I mean?
Ain't no question.
They said a lot of things that happened, right? But I ain't do nothing, you know what I mean?
Ain't no question. Ain't no question.
They say don't walk through the door, you know what I mean? Over the court side, hit the nigga about 50-something times. Yeah, police came and said, oh, that's it. That's it when I say it.
Ain't no question.
Fucking like I get where I'm going at. He said, what you mean? I said, administrative back on administrative, that's when you get the knife. And then my brother said, no, we're giving that motherfucker. And I said, man, fuck that nigga. I ain't giving him shit. So then got to the door, I threw it all by the stage and shit after the nigga was landing there with a burgundy swimsuit. I got the holes in them, only hit him 50-something times. Yeah, but the knife, took the knife bit, you know?
Yeah, that's what's
how
up.
hard I hit that motherfucker.
Ain't no question.
Man, I can't talk so much.
Yeah.
You know, on contract.
Right.
Yeah, Cat, I gotta be a power failure, man.
That's Cat Eye.
Yeah.
Hey, on.
Yeah, Cat, Nitty, hey, what's up, Daddy?
What's going on? Oh, how you doing?
Oh, man, what can a young man say, man?
Ain't no question.
Keep wearing them out.
Ain't no question, man. It's good to see you out here, man.
Yes, sir. You know.
Absolutely. Well, look, I'm in the middle of this podcast, so I ain't gonna hold y'all up. But man, as always, man, there's much love, man. I'm glad to see y'all, man, and I'll be to y'all shortly. So we all go out somewhere, all right?
Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know I got a book coming out. I'm a book already out on Amazon.
What's the name of it?
Yeah, I say All Lives Matter. You know?
Okay.
All Lives Matter. And the movie coming out in January back on against Marlo.
Right. Yeah, okay, because I told the viewers it's called The Real Marlo, it's just called Marlo.
Yeah, Marlo.
Yeah, cause I...
This isn't the thing the real Marlo says, but...
Okay.
Marlo.
Okay. Yeah. So... No, that's it, man. I definitely appreciate this, man. I just want to introduce, man, you to the viewers, man, and let them know, man, about the family love, man. That was it, man.
Yeah, and all that shit, man, you know what I mean? I put in my own work. I ain't need nobody to put my work in.
Ain't no question. Ain't no question.
Yeah.
Ain't no question. So, man, like I said, I just told Ken I said, man, I'll be to holler at y'all soon. We probably gonna get somewhere, get lunch. You hear me?
Yeah, we say...
I said, man, we gonna get together soon. We probably do lunch or something. All right.
Yeah, man, we do lunch, you know.
All right. So man,
I like
appreciate.
French fries and gravy. You heard me?
Well, I got you. Whatever you want, I got you.
All
All right,
right. I love y'all, man. Y'all take care, man.
all right. Love you too, Mom. All right.
Positive, man. We got up and down people, man. Cause a lot of them, we gotta get them to know how, man. That is how to get ahead. Like, I ain't saying pay police and none of this shit. I'm just saying, you know, show a motherfucker the way how to get ahead legit.
Right.
Not go to prison.
Right.
Okay. All right, I gotta go, man. My bro said, man, you on contract.
All right, bro. All right, dog.
All right, man.
All right. Well, I'm back. I just wanted to give y'all that little treat, man. Like I said, y'all go see this movie, man. It's called The Real Marlo. This is the one they talked about on The Wire, man. It's my aunt, man, and like I said, they was out there, man, doing real gangster things, man. These some of the dudes, man, I looked up to, like I told y'all, that was my hero. So, one of the things, man, that we gonna do for y'all now, we was gonna end this in a 3-part series, man. I was just informed, man, that we gonna try to keep the thing going, but we gonna get into some real things on this. So y'all stay tuned. Like I said, man, y'all keep on pushing in every hood of Hollywood, and make sure y'all keep y'all foot on them bitch ass niggas' neck. Peace.
Thanks for watching, y'all. Remember, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. Teen Wolf TV.